It's been almost 4.5 months of driving this thing nearly every day. I watched the soul leave the body. Can you take a guess as to what it was that killed my Mini-B? You think you could even bet on it? I'll say that it's mostly stock. These were the only two option parts I bought for it. I bought the toolkit for it. That way I can maintain it a little bit easier. I can say it had nothing to do with steering or suspension. It had nothing to do with the steering servo. It had nothing to do with that 2-in-1 speed controller receiver unit. You want to know what it was that killed my Mini-B? It was brush failure. That is a piece of what remains of the brushes. I have no idea if I'm the only person to have driven a Mini-B, a RTR Mini-B at that, with the stock brush setup to the point of failure. Usually people have just went ahead and brushless swapped these things after one run on the stock electronics. Can't really imagine what it was. But I can say there is a lot of dust. I assume it's dust from the brushes for the most part, inside of the can. The windings are generally self-explanatory. There's just the windings. I don't really have a whole lot to say about that. And the rest of this is the mounting hardware and the pinion gear. We all know what they do. Maybe you saw it coming. But in reality, it wasn't anything to do with suspension, steering servo, electronics, or the battery, or the drivetrain. This buggy in its stock form, or mostly stock form, has pretty much taken everything I've thrown at it. My biggest regret, believe it or not, was buying the option parts, because I started having problems with the steering after I bought those. I had to put Loctite if I can get this on camera or lighted well enough. My lighting setup isn't that great. I had to get Loctite on the screws where the drag link connects to the bell crank, and the servo horn being solid didn't help when I impacted a hard surface. I broke the servo mounting flange, whatever you want to call that. This broke and sheared from the body, and I've tried repairing this 4 different times and it's come apart. This didn't stop it, believe it or not. I still kept running it on this. It kept taking everything I threw at it. The battery is fine. Speed controller's fine. It was sending current to the motor. The motor wasn't spinning because once it got to the terminals on the motor, there was nowhere for that current to flow. I've had this not even 4.5 months, and to think it was something as stupid as the brushes going out in the motor to be what would ultimately kill it. Not an impact, not parts wearing out, not even this left front A-arm. It has a crack at this front pivot. This front A-arm could come off here. It wouldn't stop it. And then after that fell off, I've got a picture. Got a picture of this where after I hit a curb with the A-arm having fallen off this pivot, the shock came apart. It still kept moving. And I actually have video footage of this still driving with the A-arm being separated and broken. I guess I've been beating on it a little bit too hard. You better believe that sucker still runs. Yes, I'm still driving it. I ain't done with it yet. It's a crack in it. Right there. Yep. Guess it's probably time for a rebuild finally. I guess the final verdict is the Losi Mini-B ready to run? Is it all built adequately out of the box to take whatever punishment you throw at it? I would say yes. Everything that this came with was more than adequate for the brushed motor setup. I haven't had any real complaints or any real crazy issues. There hasn't been anything that I couldn't clean, repair, put back together, keep going with, keep dealing with. It's been amazing, and I kind of wish I had taken pictures of it when I first got it and had some way to record my impressions, because out of the box, brand new, feeling the way the shocks felt, looking at the quality of everything, it was really impressive. And it's proven itself to have been a very durable unit. And now I sit here and wait for all of my parts to come in, because I guess I have a reason now to finally do a brushless conversion on this little buggy. Although, if you had to, you could. There's a whole bunch of a bunch of these no-name 280 brush motors on eBay that you could probably solder in here and mount up and keep it going on a brush setup. It's something like $4 for a no-name brush motor that will fit directly in this buggy. Don't really have a whole lot else to say here, other than I kind of wish it would have went. I would kind of wish it lasted longer than 4.5 months. It's been a really awesome buggy to have with me on the daily, just to go bash somewhere where there's a parking lot or a ditch or wherever, somewhere quiet to go and run it and have a little blast with it. Anyway, thanks for watching whatever the heck this was, whatever this underwhelming video was. I hope I was able to get across that everything on the ready to run Mini-B out of the box is adequate for the brush setup. And before I go, here are my stock parts that I replaced: the stock bell crank and drag link, and the servo saver. The servo saver that would have saved my servo if I had left it on there. I'm not sure what I'll be screwing with next time. There might be some sort of piece of rusty junk, or when I finally get all the parts in, I'll be making a video showcasing everything, and eventually tear down and rebuild with all the new parts. I'm looking forward to that. Oh, one way or another, I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.